Whenever one thinks of Italy, they think of, pizza, pasta, or the Colosseum. But in reality, Italy is so much more than these things. In fact, according to Leinhart in 2016, Italy has more masterpieces per square mile than any other country in the world. I got to experience these masterpieces firsthand when I went to Italy this summer for 2 weeks. And during that time, I got to see so much about their culture that I hope to share with you today. Before I go over what I'm going to talk about in the speech, I'd like to bring up a few things about Italy, which are according to Global Edge from Michigan State University in 2017. So Italy has a population of 60,600, 590. The capital is Rome, the language is Italian, and the currency is the euro. So during this speech, I'm going to talk about the packing and traveling list that you know in order to get there, as well as the cultural features and notable sites in my two favorite cities, Rome, which you can see under this A right here, and Venice, which is up in the top right of the state. So before you can even go to Italy, you would have to know what to pack. So as far as what you should pack, definitely with outfits and toiletries, you want to bring enough for the amount of days you're going to be there, but keeping in mind that it gets extremely hot over the summer. So whenever you think of hot, though, sometimes you might think, oh, maybe I can wear a tank top or shorts. But one thing that's really important to keep in mind is that Italy is an extremely Catholic country, and especially in a lot of the churches or in the Vatican or any type of area you want to go to that has a religious context with it, you're going to need to cover up your shoulders with a shawl or a cardigan, as you can see right here, or with like a jacket or something. And then also your knees have to be covered, and you'd have to have closed-toed shoes. As far as shoes, though, anywhere, if you're going in Europe, walking shoes are going to be the most appropriate for sure because you do a lot of walking. Additionally, your passport you need anytime you go out of the country, and the charging adapters, you can see them on the bottom right. These are the adapters for Italy, so you need to buy one of those for your phones or tablet or anything like that. Additionally, you shouldn't pack valuables and any touristy clothing. If you don't want to look like a tourist, don't dress like one. And this is according to Asher and Lyric in 2011. So now that you know what to pack, let's talk about the cultural features you're going to see once you get there. So as I kind of touched on a little bit earlier, you need to make sure that you're covering up shoulders, knees, and wearing shoes because of the religious aspect if you're going into any type of church or religious monument. Another important cultural feature is dining. And whenever people think of Italy, a lot of times they think of the food. And that's because the food as a culture for Italy is so important. So instead of in America where you kind of go to a restaurant, eat really quick, and then leave, in Italy, you could spend up to 3 hours actually at a meal. During this time, instead of drinking soda or tea, you'd be drinking sparkling or still water, and then most people would drink wine with their meals. Additionally, with tipping in Italy, it's not so much like America where it's like the 15 to 20% rule. Generally, it'll either be included on the bill or you'll only tip about €1 or $2. It's not nearly as emphasized in the culture as it is here in America. And of course, as I said earlier, the currency is the euro. And this is according to Brema in 2015. So now that we have kind of like an overview of what you're going to see and how you're going to get there, let's go more specifically into the two cities that I've chosen to focus on, Rome and Venice, and what to do there. So Rome is the capital, called Roma in Italy, and myself and US News 2017 definitely recommend the following sites. The Trevi Fountain, which is right here in the bottom right, it's absolutely gorgeous. And St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican Museums, and the Sistine Chapel. The Vatican is actually its own country, but inside of the city of Rome, and in there it has St. Peter's Basilica, which is the big church of the Pope, and the Sistine Chapel has all the ceilings and the walls painted by Michelangelo. It's absolutely fabulous to go to. I highly recommend going. Additionally, you can also see the Pantheon, which is in the top right, and the Colosseum in the bottom left. If you go a little bit more northward, you'll reach Venice, where if you see it a lot in movies characterized as having all the gondolas, although now you can have boats, just regular boats, and water taxis are actually pretty common there. So the Grand Canal is the big canal that goes throughout the city of Venice, and you can see one of the tributary canals right here that leads off from the Grand Canal. Additionally, there's St. Mark's Square, which is the center square in the city of Venice, and in St. Mark's Square you have the Basilica di San Marco, which is right here on the top right, and you have Doge's Palace, which has a long history of rulers in it. And then also this picture on the bottom right is taken from the bell tower in St. Mark's Square. You can even see the Basilica di San Marco right there. So that's a really cool place to go if you want a panoramic view of Venice. It's absolutely stunning. And one thing that most people don't know, which is really interesting, is that Venice is known for their glass blowing. So if you ever get to see a demonstration like I did, I highly recommend doing that. Or just browsing the shops. They have lots of like glass making is what they're famous for. And this is according to TripAdvisor in 2017. So just to recap, we've gone over, after a brief history of Italy, we've talked a little bit about the packing requirements that you would need in order to go, the cultural features that you'll experience once you're there, and the notable sites in both Rome and Venice. So hopefully, if you wanted to take a trip out there, you can go and experience these things, and you'll learn that Italy's a lot more than just pizza and pasta.